Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians. I'm commending Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for bringing this supplementary bill that tend to address very critical issues of the Nigerian economy.
Senators praise President Tinubu for 2023 supplementary budgets, say it will help address national challenges.
This is one area that has led to banditry in Zamfara State and many parts of the country, including Kebbi State and others.
And Senate moves to ensure security of mining sector of the nation's economy. Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Inside the Senate, a program which brings you activities of the Red Chamber of the National Assembly and its members. I am your anchor Aisha Muhammad Ahmed, urging you to stay tuned as the program unfolds.
Promote the unity, happiness and prosperity of Nigeria.
The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023.
And may this act should be supported by all. There are issues that we must use this opportunity to critically address.
We accord this motion the urgency and the necessity it requires.
I rise the second motion.
The ayes have it.
Welcome back. Last week, the Senate, in a motion, set itself to ensure the security of the mining sector in Nigeria, which has been bedeviled by the activities of illegal miners. In another development, Senate praised President Tinubu for taking a bold and significant step in alleviating the suffering of Nigerians as it passes the 2023 supplementary budget. Report of these events alongside other happenings in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly make up this episode of the program. Do stay with us.
That I will be faithful
And bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
and bear true allegiance to
One
the
of the
Federal
major
Republic of
activities
Nigeria.
in the Red
That as a
Chamber
member of the
last
Senate,
week during
that as a
plenary
member of
was
the
the
Senate,
swearing-in
I'll
of
perform my
Senator-elect
functions honestly.
Natasha Akpoti-Oduogan of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from Kogi Central Senatorial District by the Clerk of the Senate. She replaces Senator Abubakar Ohere of the All Progressives Congress (APC), whose victory was nullified by the Court of Appeal. President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, welcomed the newly sworn-in senator on the floor of the Red Chamber.
We pray that God will grant you wisdom, guidance for you to discharge the onerous responsibility of representing the good people of Kogi State. So congratulations and welcome to the Red Chambers of the National Assembly.
Also in the week under review, the Senate received a number of petitions from some senators, amongst who were Abdul Aziz Musayar Adua from Katsina Central, Senator Kamaruddin Olalere from Osun West, and Senator Banigo Ipali Buhari from Rivers West, respectively, on behalf of their constituents.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I have a petition from one of my constituents by name Abubakar Abdullahi Dusama, and this petition is predicated on denial of his promotion, persecution, and unfair treatment by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission.
Mr. President, this is a petition in respect of one of my constituents who claimed he was wrongfully dismissed from job and is seeking a restatement by ANEC back to his office with full entitlement and necessary promotion.
I seek the leave of these great Red Chambers to present a petition from one of my constituents, whose name is Sandra Dimi of Obwama in Senatorial West. Her concern is that she was not given appropriate hearing by her employer, West African Examination Council, before she was dismissed after 31 years of meritorious service.
The motions were referred to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions for further legislative action. Let's take a break here to open the Senate's notebook. Keep watching.
The Senate Standing or Ad hoc Committee, as the case may be, performs its duties through various ways. It holds regular meetings to deliberate on bills and other matters referred to them by the Senate. It conducts fact-finding and investigative hearings to enhance quality of bills with a view to obtaining relevant knowledge for oversight purposes. It also visits particular sites and agencies to obtain information and facts that will help its case.
Welcome back. The Senate considered some bills for first reading last week. It also considered a motion that seeks to aid citizens affected by communal clashes in Cross River states and another to secure the mining industry in Nigeria. Let's have highlights of the reports.
That the vote on proceedings of Tuesday, 31st.
Between Tuesday the 31st of October and Thursday the 2nd of November 2023, the Senate considered a number of bills for first reading. They include 1. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023 SB 196, sponsored by Senator Aliyu Wadada Ahmed from Nasarawa West. 2. Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Lere, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2023 SB 214, sponsored by Senator Khalid Ibrahim Mustafa from Kaduna North. 3. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC Act Amendment Bill 2023 SB 236, sponsored by Senator Nwonye Tony from Anambra North. 4. Federal Orthopedic Hospitals Act Amendment Bill 2023 SB 219, sponsored by Senator Fadausi Adeniba Francis from Osun East. 5. Federal University of Education Technical Gombe Establishment Bill 2023 SB 221, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo from Gombe North.
The Senate notes that the Ovonum and Ofotura.
Moving on to motions, a motion on the need for the federal government to support citizens affected by communal clashes between Ovonum and Ofatura in Cross River Central Senatorial District with relief package was sponsored by Senator Jonah Williams N10 from Cross River Central Senatorial District.
The Senate notes that the Ovonum and Ofotura communities in Obubra local government area of Cross River State have a long history of peaceful coexistence but unfortunately, recent events have led to a breakdown in this harmony. Also notes that the clash between these communities have resulted in loss of lives, destruction of properties, displacement of families, and a general sense of insecurity among the residents.
Senator N10 further noted that the affected citizens are currently in their need of humanitarian assistance to help rebuild their lives and communities as they have been left homeless and without necessities such as food, water, and shelter. Prayers for the motion were to urge the military and other security agencies to deploy security personnel to the affected communities to restore peace and order, protect the lives and properties of the residents, and prevent any further escalation of the conflict. Also urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to map out an intervention scheme and provide relief materials to the affected communities to help the citizens regain normalcy in their lives. 3. Further urge the Federal Ministry of Health through its relevant agencies to carry out an urgent community disease prevalence diagnosis and provide medical support to the communities affected by the communal clashes. 4. Equally urge the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation to provide support to the affected communities. 5. Mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure the relevant agencies comply. The motion was voted on and adopted.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes.
The economic potential of this
Senator O.C. Taungu from Enugu West Senatorial District
of
also moved a motion to comprehensively review the input and output values of the Nigerian mining industry in light of its central role to the economic diversification, foreign exchange earnings, and social inclusion.
The Senate notes that virtually all economic development programs and fiscal documents ranging from the Vision 2020 report, the National Economic Empowerment Development Strategy (NEEDS), the 30-year Infrastructure Master Plan Development Program, and the current midterm National Development Plans all identify the Nigerian mining sector as central to economic diversification and social inclusion. Aware that the several decades of policy incoherence and weak institutional disalignment, the economic potential of this sector to the gross domestic product of the economy has remained dismal.
Senator Ungu noted that the Bureau of Public Enterprise, BPE, has been selling and is on the verge of concluding the privatization and commercialization of all public-funded facilities relating to the Nigerian mining and mineral sector, in spite of the fact that none of its privatization programs has shown any consigns beneficial impact to the mining industry. There were contributions to the motion by some of the lawmakers.
This motion is apt and germane, especially against the backdrop of the gospel of diversification of the Nigerian economy away from oil to other sectors that will generate much needed revenue to the country, that is being preached and championed by the present administration.
Mr. President, I want to suggest here that this 10th Senate takes up the issue of solid minerals development in Nigeria as one of its very, very important legislative interventions. Let it be one of those very critical sectors that we can now legislate, review the laws guiding the solid minerals development in Nigeria. What are those interventions that the federal government should do to make this sector more viable?
Nigeria is the only place that you find foreigners coming into our localities where you think people will not be there. You find foreigners mining there illegally. And if you have only 25 tons, only 25 tons of gold as at today is 1.5 trillion naira. And more than this is being taken out of this country on a daily basis without a kobo being paid as tax to government.
Inasmuch as we are concerned about generating revenue for the federal government and state governments as well, we should not forget about the host communities and their rights. I would like to draw attention to a critical situation which has been ignored, primarily the environmental degradation. If we close our eyes or turn a blind ear to the cries of the host communities, whereby we are only interested in extracting these resources, we would ignore the fact that some of these resources are hazardous to our environment and they could cause pollution and thereby endanger the health of our people, especially children. And if we do ignore this, then in the nearest future, we're going to have a situation which we presently have in the southern part, primarily the Niger Delta region, whereby the waters, the lands, and others are polluted.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio also lent his voice to the motion.
This is one area that has led to banditry in Zamfara State and many parts of the country, including Kebbi State and others. This is one area that even in Niger and as close as Nasarawa, you see all sorts of foreigners. I remember a case of a kidnapped Chinese national in Nasarawa, and when he was eventually released after 2 weeks, and they said let them take him to the embassy for him to, he said no, that he was going back to the field, that they should release him to go back to the field. After being with the bandits for over 2 weeks, on his release, he refused to come to Abuja or Lagos to even go for medical checks. He said he wanted to go back to work. On a daily basis, they are cutting away things you think are sand or you think are stone. And at the airport, our personnel are not trained to even know which one is copper, which one is uranium, which one is gold, because gold is black until it passes through the furnace.
Accordingly, the Senate resolved to mandate its Committee on Solid Minerals Development to 1. Investigate the immediate and remote causes of the dwindling revenue derivable from solid minerals development in the country. 2. Review the activities of the policy administrators, the policy executors, and the industry players at the policy formulation, policy execution, and the downstream, midstream, and upstream operations of the solid minerals sector. 3. Ascertain the extent and impact of illegal mining activities and the extent of complicity of both local and expatriate industry players. 4. Or commercialization programs of all mining and mineral resources related programs from 1999 to date. The motion was voted on and adopted.
The President and Commander-in-Chief, through a communication to the President of the Senate.
High point of event during plenary last week was the passage of 2.18 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget by the Senate as requested by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On Tuesday, the 31st of October 2023, the Senate received the request through executive communication and gave the request expeditious consideration. Consequently, the Senate considered a bill sponsored by the leader of the Senate, Senator Bamidele Michael Okpeyemi, titled Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023 SB 218 for first reading and suspended its Rule 78(1) to allow for the second reading of the bill. The Senate leader led the debate.
The total sum of 2,176,791,086,033 naira only, of which 18 billion naira only is for statutory transfers, 992 billion 802 million 15,985 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure.
The bill enjoyed the support of the lawmakers.
This government decided to take its time to study its challenges and areas that need funding. It took time. And so it decided that the challenges we face in the area of insecurity, agriculture and our infrastructure should be dealt with. Then it decided that this bill should be brought forward for approval. It's a normal practice everywhere in the world.
I'm very happy with the students' loan scheme. The students' loan is something that is everywhere, both in America. The children of this country should have access to loan to fund their educational pursuits.
I'm commending Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for bringing this supplementary bill that tend to address very critical issues of the Nigerian economy, from defense to decayed infrastructure, from roads to even the palliatives in terms of the current economic realities, and also addressing the issues of the inflation and the suffering of labor people, in other words, the workers, the working population, and even to think of even the students as well, outside just road infrastructure.
The bill was read a second time and referred to the Committee on Appropriation to report back as soon as practicable. On Wednesday, the 1st of October 2023, the Committee on Appropriation interfaced with ministers heading the agencies captured in the supplementary budget. They include the Minister of Works, David Umahi, the Minister of Housing, Ahmed Dengiwa, and Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari. the Minister of Senate for Defense, Honorable Bello Matawalle, as well as service chiefs. In summary, the budget includes 18 billion naira for statutory transfer, which is meant for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), 1.33 trillion naira for recurrent and non-debt expenditures, 1.1 trillion naira for contribution to the development fund and capital expenditure in the year ending on the 31st day of December 2023. Before the passage of the bill, the Senate adopted a harmonized report from the sittings of both chambers on the 2023 supplementary appropriation bill submitted by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Solomon Adeola Olamilekon.
The Appropriation Committee considered the details provision of the bill and the input received from the head of benefiting MDAs as well as the leadership of the corresponding subcommittee in the Senate and recommend as follows. The authorization of the issuance from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the aggregate sum of 2,176,791,286.003.
Those were highlights of activities in the Senate chamber from last week. Up next on the program is our profile segment. Please continue watching as we introduce our featured Senator of the Week.
Senator Idiat Oloranti Adebule is a Nigerian politician who serves as Senator for Lagos West Senatorial District of Lagos State. Senator Oloranti was born on 27 November 1970 in Ojo local government area of Lagos State. She had her early education at Awori College, Ojo, after which she proceeded for her tertiary education at the Lagos State University, Ojo, to study Islamic education in 1992. Much later, she had a certificate in early childhood development curriculum and school administration and assessment from the Nigeria Institute of International Education Association in 2006. She continued her master's degree at the same institution in curriculum studies. She later progressed to obtain a doctorate degree at the same institution, which she completed in 2012. Senator Oloranti began her career as a junior lecturer at Michael Otedola College of Primary Education, Epe, in the Department of Religious Studies. She later transferred her service to the Lagos State University's Department of Curricular Activities. She was responsible for reviewing the Lagos State Education Policy document. Senator Idiat Oloranti Adebule's political experience started when she was appointed as Commissioner 1 in the Lagos State Post-Primary Teaching Service Commission (PP-TESCOM), now Teachers Establishment and Pensions Office, by the then Governor Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu from October 2000 to February 2005, and later as board member of the Lagos State Scholarship Board from February 2005 to November 2005. In July 2011, she was appointed and sworn in as the secretary to the state government by the then governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola. On May 29, 2015, Senator Idiat Oloranti Adebule was sworn in as the Lagos State Deputy Governor, making her the 15th Deputy Governor of Lagos State and the 6th woman to occupy the office.
With that, we come to the end of this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Don't forget to communicate your questions and opinions via any of our feedback channels. Stay safe and see you next week.